They weren't strangers. They weren't criminals on the outside. They were the people parents trusted the most. And what they did inside schools will disturb you. Names and locations are changed to protect individuals and the integrity of cases. Subscribe, like, and share for more stories like this. We bring you true crime stories every day. They didn't explain why she was being arrested. Not at first. Just one sentence echoed in her mind. You need to go to jail. This was the moment a 27-year-old school teacher, who we'll call Emily Carter, realized her secret was no longer hidden, and that her life, as she knew it, was over. Emily wasn't being taken in for paperwork. She wasn't being questioned as a witness. She was being arrested for exploiting a student. And despite how shocking that sounds, classrooms like this are far more common than most people want to believe. Case 1. The teacher who thought charm would save her. Emily was arrested after the parents of a teenage student discovered explicit messages sent from her phone. Messages that crossed every legal and moral boundary. Investigators later uncovered something even worse. Multiple incidents on school grounds, sometimes even during class hours. When police arrived, Emily didn't resist. In fact, she did the opposite. She complied. She smiled. She helped. She believed that if she stayed calm, friendly, even charming, the situation might somehow work in her favor. During questioning, she made small talk, asked casual questions, tried to downplay what was happening. She seemed convinced she'd be going home. She was wrong. Witnesses later confirmed their relationship had gone far beyond messages. Other students described seeing behavior that made them uncomfortable enough to leave the room entirely. At sentencing, Emily stood before the court, pleaded for mercy. She described herself as a good person who made a mistake. She asked the judge to see her future, not just her crime. The court listened and then sentenced her to 20 years in prison, the minimum allowed by law. She will spend the rest of her life on probation after release and must register as a sex offender forever. Her fear wasn't just prison. It was what prison does to people convicted of crimes like hers. Case 2. The intoxicated third-grade teacher. Our next case didn't begin with messages or secrets. It began on the first day of school. Staff noticed something was off about a third-grade teacher, who we'll call Karen Mills. Her speech was slurred. Her eyes were red. Her sentences didn't make sense. Karen claimed she'd taken medication the night before for anxiety. But when administrators asked for a breath test, the truth surfaced fast. Her blood alcohol level was 3 times the legal limit. At a school, surrounded by children. She denied drinking that morning. Then officers searched her classroom and found alcohol hidden inside a drink. Karen begged. She tried to explain it away. She claimed it was still in her system. No one believed her. When she was arrested, she cried, not because of the kids, but because she was losing her job. She was charged, fired, and permanently banned from the school grounds. And shockingly, allowed to resign instead of being terminated, leaving the door open for future employment elsewhere. Case 3. The community hero. Sometimes the most dangerous people are the ones everyone trusts. In March 2022, police arrested a well-known cheer coach. Let's call him Daniel Hayes. He ran a respected training program. Parents praised him. Reviews called him a pillar of the community. But behind closed doors, multiple girls, some as young as 12, told a very different story. When police arrived, Daniel broke down crying, not because he didn't understand, but because he did. He never asked what he was being arrested for. He already knew. What made this arrest disturbing wasn't just the allegations, it was the treatment. The officer arresting him was a personal friend. Daniel was allowed phone calls, treated gently, spoken to with sympathy, but eventually the truth caught up. More victims came forward. In 2023, Daniel pled guilty. He now faces up to 10 years in prison, awaiting final sentencing. Case 4. The teacher who couldn't keep his story straight. Our next case centers on Mark Reynolds, a middle school teacher accused of inappropriate conduct. When questioned, Mark denied everything. But his story kept changing. He claimed he was alone with a student to help with schoolwork. He claimed he didn't notice details clearly visible on security footage. He claimed he couldn't remember things he just explained moments earlier. Witnesses contradicted him. So did video evidence. As pressure increased, Mark shifted from denial to maybe to I don't know. Finally, when confronted with undeniable proof, he asked for a lawyer. Too late. He was charged and released on bond. His trial has been repeatedly delayed, but his teaching career is over. Case 5. The substitute who confessed. In another case, a substitute teacher, Yusuf Rahman, was accused by multiple students under the age of 12. At first, he apologized constantly, not denied, not defended, just apologized. When investigators mentioned video evidence, his demeanor changed instantly. Eventually, he confessed. He was convicted on multiple counts and sentenced to 8 years per victim. After serving his time, he will be deported and permanently labeled a predator. Case 6. The drunk kindergarten teacher. On a summer night, police responded to a parking garage accident. The driver? A kindergarten teacher, Lauren Brooks. She immediately admitted she'd been drinking. She rated herself 5 out of 10, intoxicated, and still thought she was fine to drive. When arrested, she laughed. She joked. She posed for photos. She even joked about printing her mugshot on a t-shirt. Lauren was charged with DWI. And while she didn't harm a child that night, she easily could have. Case 7. The principal who refused reality. Our final case involves a middle school principal, Angela Moore. After crashing into 2 homes, she insisted nothing had happened. She refused sobriety tests, refused breathalyzers, refused fingerprinting. She blamed medical issues, then family connections, then confusion. After over an hour of resistance, she was arrested. She later resigned. Teachers, coaches, principals, these are people entrusted with children's lives. And while most educators protect that trust, these cases show what happens when power goes unchecked. These weren't strangers. They were trusted, and that's what made the damage so devastating. If you want more investigative breakdowns like this, make sure you're subscribed. Because the truth doesn't protect itself.